Have you ever experienced this in life? When you felt disrespected by someone, your chest tightened, words caught in your throat, and you couldn't say anything at all. Those moments make us feel small, and sometimes even fill us with anger and frustration. But that doesn't mean we should just remain helplessly passive. We need to know how to respond wisely, to protect our own dignity, and maintain healthy relationships. Today, we'll explore concrete ways to keep our hearts strong in situations where we're disrespected, and never let disrespect shake us again. Through this deep conversation, I sincerely hope your heart becomes more resilient, and you can reclaim control of your life. If today's topic resonates with you, please subscribe and like this video. I'll repay you with insightful content that truly helps your life. First, don't be swayed by emotions, and evaluate the situation objectively and calmly. The feeling of being disrespected can leave deep wounds within us, and we're easily swept up by intense emotions in the moment. Thoughts like, "What did I do wrong? Why'd I have to be treated this way? Does that person have the right to treat me like this?" fill our heads and paralyze our reason. However, such emotional reactions can complicate the situation or make us lose the opportunity to respond rationally and wisely. What's most important here is determining objectively and from multiple angles whether the other person's behavior is truly intentional disrespect toward you, or if there are other complex reasons or backgrounds hidden beneath. For example, the other person might show unusually sensitive behavior due to personal stress, family problems, or work overload, or they might simply be misunderstanding something you did, or it could be a small misunderstanding from lack of communication. Rather than interpreting every situation as direct disrespect toward me, we need to practice viewing things from a broader, more flexible perspective. Am I reacting too sensitively? When you feel like someone is disrespecting you, pause for a moment and ask yourself deep questions. Could there be other hidden backgrounds to their behavior? Am I possibly misunderstanding the situation because I'm caught up in my current emotions? Are there factors in this situation beyond just me? These questions expand our perspective and are crucial tools that help us analyze situations calmly without being swept by emotions. Evaluating situations from various perspectives is a vital self-management process that helps us reduce unnecessary emotional drain and energy waste, allowing us to focus that energy in more productive and positive directions. Effectively regulating emotions is also extremely important. We must be careful not to be overwhelmed by emotions. In situations where we're disrespected, feeling angry, disappointed, frustrated, or even humiliated is a perfectly natural human response. But being swept by those emotions and doing something you'll regret, or saying something irreversible, must absolutely be avoided. When these emotions surge, it's good to step away briefly. Take deep breaths, or listen to your favorite music. Find and use your own methods of emotional regulation. Ask yourself firmly, will I let this intense emotion control my reason and actions? Or will I effectively manage and control this emotion? And remember, instead of pouring energy into focusing on someone who disrespects you, it's far wiser and more valuable to focus on your own happiness and personal growth. Set new goals, repeat positive affirmations to yourself, and through practices that strengthen self-affirmation, you can thoroughly protect yourself from negative external stimuli. The behavior of someone who disrespects you is ultimately a reflection of their own inner problems and immaturity, never a diminishment of your essential worth. Recognizing and continually respecting your own value, this is the most powerful and effective psychological defense against disrespect, and will be the solid shield that protects your inner self. Second, clearly express your intentions and boundaries with firm yet dignified language. Sometimes people intentionally and repeatedly disrespect you. In such cases, it's necessary to respond actively and proactively, rather than passively. But what's important here is not fighting or confronting the person emotionally, but conveying your position and boundaries firmly and calmly, while controlling your emotions. For example, if someone keeps ignoring your opinions in meetings, or shows an attitude of only listening to others without giving you the floor to speak, you can say clearly and firmly, "Excuse me, but I have an opinion too. Could you please give me a moment to speak?" At this time, keep your voice tone low and calm, and it's good to speak while looking directly into their eyes. Regarding rude remarks or unpleasant jokes, it's also effective to express your discomfort and expectations directly and clearly. "What you just said sounds very rude to me. I would appreciate it if you wouldn't speak that way in the future." Many people remain silent or deflect in such situations because they want to avoid conflict, but such silence can sometimes send the wrong signal that it's okay to disrespect me. It's important to consistently show that you boldly protect your rights and respect yourself, especially in environments like the workplace, where you can't completely avoid the person. You also need a strategy of responding with proper retorts to their disrespectful remarks. Here, proper retorts don't mean emotional accusations or personal attacks, but logical and rational rebuttals that point out their flawed logic or behavior. For example, if someone groundlessly undermines your abilities or expertise, you can logically counter, "What specifically is the basis for your hasty judgment about my abilities? I've successfully achieved results multiple times in past projects using these methods. Perhaps you're not fully aware of that aspect." What's most important here is maintaining a confident attitude throughout and being careful not to get caught up in their emotional attacks or provocations. Remember, you have the right to defend yourself and protect your worth, and that defense should be carried out in a rational and dignified manner, not as an emotional fight. Firmly draw your boundaries clearly and show that your emotions are no longer swayed by their rudeness. It's important to express clearly that you refuse and boldly assert your rights. This reveals your inner confidence and will prevent them from treating or disrespecting you carelessly anymore. Your words are a powerful tool that reveals your dignity while demonstrating your strength. Third, set relationships wisely and minimize unnecessary contact. We know from experience that we can't maintain ideal relationships with everyone. Some people drain our precious energy and constantly chip away at our self-esteem. In relationships with people who have such negative influence, cold and wise distancing is essential. The first step is minimizing unnecessary contact with uncomfortable or harmful people. It's also a good method to consciously avoid places where that person frequently appears, or adjust your daily routes. If it's an unavoidable work relationship, it's wise to only have minimal necessary work conversations and thoroughly avoid unnecessary personal conversations or interactions. At this time, actions like avoiding their gaze or looking elsewhere during conversation can indirectly but clearly convey the message that, "I have no personal interest in you." But even then, you must be careful not to be seen as rude or uncooperative. It's important to maintain formal courtesy while effectively keeping psychological distance, especially using polite and formal expressions accurately, like "excuse me, please, thank you," while maintaining excessive courtesy to build a psychological wall with the other person is also very effective. For example, when someone asks overly personal questions, politely but firmly refusing, like, "That's something I find a bit difficult to discuss. I'm sorry," can be an effective defense that protects your privacy and prevents them from freely invading your personal space, going further, if necessary. Asking for help from people around you is also a wise strategy. If there's someone who's excessively aggressive or rude, rather than facing them alone, you can spend time with friends or colleagues to minimize direct confrontations with that person. When multiple people are together, the likelihood of someone behaving rudely decreases significantly. Also, establishing your own clear principles is very important. To handle frequent requests or unreasonable demands without wavering, you need to have your own firm standards. You should be able to say firmly, "This request clearly exceeds the scope of what I can help with," rather than becoming a good person who grants every request. Becoming a wise person who clearly knows and can protect their limits and priorities is ultimately the way to protect yourself and maintain healthy relationships. Don't forget that your time and energy are limited and precious resources. Fourth, build a strong psychological defense wall and focus solely on your own value and growth. The most crucial and important thing in situations where you're disrespected is building a strong psychological defense wall that effectively protects you from negative external energy and emotional attacks. You must steadily practice not reacting emotionally to every action of people who make you uncomfortable or dislike you, and keeping their negative energy far away from you. When someone tries to shake your emotions or provoke you, tell yourself firmly, "I will never be swayed by their negative emotions. I will maintain my composure." Imagining that there's a transparent and solid protective shield around you that blocks any external attack can also be a great psychological help. It prevents their words or actions from breaking through your solid protective shield and wounding your inner self. Not paying attention to every negative word and action of people who disrespect you is beyond simply ignoring them. It's a very important act of self-defense that protects your precious peace of mind. Don't let them unnecessarily drain your valuable emotional energy. Your energy should be used for your dreams and goals. Also, rather than being swayed by every action of someone who disrespects you, focusing solely on your own life and personal growth is far more important and productive. Find new hobbies, invest time in professional self-development, or spend meaningful time with people who genuinely cherish and love you. Immerse yourself in activities that make you happy and enrich your life. This will further elevate your self-esteem and make you stronger and more resilient against negative external factors. The behavior of someone who disrespects you is likely a projection of their own deep-seated problems, anxieties, or inferiority complex. Their disrespect toward you doesn't diminish your essential worth, but rather starkly reveals their own immaturity and inner deficiency. Once you clearly recognize this objective fact, their actions will no longer greatly disturb your emotions. Your true worth is never determined by others' hasty evaluations or rude behavior. You are already sufficiently precious, just as you are, and a valuable being with infinite potential. Never forget this immutable truth for even a moment. For people who are excessively aggressive or trying to harm you, actively seeking help from those around you is also a wise method. Don't try to bear all the heavy burdens alone. Getting help from trustworthy friends or colleagues, or even professionals like psychological counselors, can greatly help your psychological stability and problem solving. Establishing your own firm principles and continually protecting your precious value and happiness. This is the most powerful and effective response to disrespect, and the fundamental attitude that makes your life stronger and richer. Fifth, understand the psychology of people who disrespect you and demonstrate the wisdom to turn it to your advantage. People who disrespect others generally expect your reaction. They want to see you get angry, become sad, or make excuses for their behavior. This gives them pleasure, or a sense of superiority. Therefore, not reacting, as they intend, can be the most powerful response. Paradoxically, return disrespect with disregard, maintaining a calm and indifferent attitude without being shaken by their provocation, will give them unexpected bewilderment. For example, if someone intentionally ignores what you say or interrupts you, rather than reacting emotionally, pause your speech briefly, wait until they finish talking, then continue your point. At this time, it's important to speak in a very calm and composed tone. Please continue. Once you're finished, I'll continue what I was saying. This shows you weren't disturbed by their rudeness and clearly conveys that their behavior had no effect on you whatsoever. Also, people who disrespect others often try to find and attack your weaknesses. Therefore, it's important not to expose your weaknesses. Don't easily reveal your emotions or personal information. Instead, show your strengths and confidence. This will prevent them from looking down on you anymore. Some people, when feeling inadequate or harboring inferiority complexes, try to confirm their superiority by disrespecting others. If you understand this psychology, you'll realize their behavior isn't about you personally, but stems from their own problems. This realization helps you keep psychological distance from their disrespect and be less hurt by their actions. When someone who disrespects you asks uncomfortable questions or tries to invade your private space, deflecting with laughter or changing the topic is also a good method. Haha, that's an interesting question. But isn't the weather really nice today? Respond lightly like this and redirect the conversation. This prevents them from getting the reaction they want and stops them from continuing to hold on to you. The most perfect revenge is not giving them the reaction they want and making your life shine brighter, even if they ignore your existence. By showing that you grow even more without losing your own light, you can deliver the greatest psychological blow to them. Ultimately, your composure and success will be your most powerful weapon against them. In conclusion, not remaining passive when disrespected and responding wisely is beyond merely fighting back emotionally against the other person. It's a very important self-growth process of firmly protecting your dignity and making your heart stronger. It's important to evaluate situations objectively, calmly, and from multiple angles, without being swept by emotions, and to clearly express your intentions and boundaries with firm yet dignified and courteous language. Also, in relationships that are harmful to you, wisely distance yourself or minimize unnecessary contact, and above all, focus solely on your own value and growth, and build a strong psychological defense wall that protects you from negative external stimuli. And going one step further, it's also necessary to deeply understand the psychology of people who disrespect you and demonstrate the wisdom to turn the situation to your advantage by not reacting as they intend. You are a being who deserves respect from anyone in this world, and no one can disrespect or demean you carelessly. Never forget this immutable truth for even a moment, and based on this realization, I hope you lead your life more proactively and with confidence. The next time someone disrespects you or tries to shake your emotions, you'll be able to respond wisely and resiliently by remembering the precious stories and wisdom we shared today. I sincerely support your brilliant life and infinite potential. You are strong enough and beautiful enough